It's time for The Hard Way Podcast, the saga of an award-winning journalist trying to make it as a family man, despite having no idea what he's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Matt Schorr.
How is that for an intro, huh? I always was a hard rock metal kind of guy, so a podcast about my personal stories it was a no-brainer pretty much. Thank you so much for checking out this inaugural episode of the Hard Way Podcast, where I invite the world to stop, take a moment, and laugh at my pain. Or laugh with me. Depends on the episode. For years, I wrote a humor column in my hometown, telling all the weird and wacky stories that I had, first as a newlywed, then as a first-time father, and now, finally, as a family man. I loved telling those stories so much, I just finally decided, hey, let's make it a podcast. So here we are. And in our first episode, I'm going to look back just a bit to this last Christmas, but stay with me because I promise we're also looking ahead. But first, a word from Schorr Manor. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to visit the official Schorr Manor online t-shirt shop, the purveyors of all things spooky and all things Halloween, as long as it's in t-shirt form. You can find it at mattschorr.net. Just click on shop at the top of the page. And while you're there, be sure to use the promo code journalist and get 10% off of everything in the store. Once again, that's mattschorr.net and click on shop at the top of the page. I do want to make sure and mention to subscribe to this podcast. Make sure to give it some nice reviews, a positive rating, boost the algorithm there if you're watching it on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe to our channel, all that good stuff. But also make sure that if you haven't already, to check out my original podcast, Tales from a Small Town Journalist. We're now celebrating our 4th anniversary with that podcast. I'm told most podcasts only make it 1 year, but we've made it 4. Count them 4. So that's pretty cool, pretty impressive. So celebrate with us by checking that one out. Check out the latest podcast that just dropped this week with Kathy Onan, the mayor of Mayfield, Kentucky. I interviewed her to catch up and see how my hometown is faring 1 year after a just devastating tornado wiped out almost half of the town. It was a fascinating conversation, interesting. It was great to catch up because she is a family friend. It's a small town. She went to church with my parents. She taught at my high school. I grew up with her daughters. That's how it goes in a small town like Mayfield. But it was interesting, fascinating, also a bit sobering because there's definitely still some hardships going on there that at this point it's easy for people to overlook. So please check that one out. It's a great episode. It was really cool catching up with her. And now, on with the show. Finding a way to make Christmas spooky is easily my proudest holiday accomplishment. I don't just mean by dressing up our 12-foot skeleton in a black shroud and passing him off as the ghost of Christmas future, although that is a big one. Nor do I mean projecting the ghost of Jacob Marley on my office window and placing a Scrooge and Marley counting house sign outside, although that too is a big one. No, my proudest accomplishment is working something spooky under the tree as a gift for my wife, and her loving it. Every year, Amanda and I undertake a haunted pilgrimage to St. Louis for the Transworld Halloween and Attractions Show. I couldn't tell you how many attendances we can now claim, but I can tell you that it's so entrenched in our annual planning that it's pretty much a tradition at this point, sort of like a second Halloween. It all started as a Valentine's gift. I wanted to give Amanda something different, something more than the usual assortment of flowers. Although, make no mistake, I still did that. And something more than just chocolate. But of course, I also did that. Now, I wanted her to have something that resonated on a deeper, perhaps even spiritual level. Something that encapsulated what she truly loved. Other than me, of course. That's how I discovered Transworld, a one-of-a-kind trade show unlike any other in the world. Professional haunters, FX specialists, artists, even podcasters gather to network and showcase and, of course, celebrate all things Halloween. It was the perfect gift So perfect, in fact, it became a regular Valentine's gift every year. That is, until COVID. When the pandemic struck, Transworld canceled their show and burrowed in like the rest of us until the first, second, third, fourth, however many other waves there were that passed. When they resumed, the schedule became a bit unpredictable. Tickets as Valentine's gifts that weren't a guarantee. Which brings me to last Christmas. Transworld's next Ghoulish Gala is scheduled for the first weekend of February, more than a week ahead of when I'd normally gift Amanda with that second Halloween. So call it cheating if you wish, and I won't argue. But I adjusted my usual plan just a bit and included Transworld in Amanda's Christmas goodies. She had no idea the show was rescheduled for 2023, so when she found herself staring at two Transworld tickets on Christmas Day, she was surprised, amused, and, if I know my wife as well as I think I do, just a bit giddy, which is an absolute win. I love Transworld. I love visiting it with Amanda. And I love seeing the joy in her eyes that can only be brought about by celebrating something spooky. The new year is off to a great start. Trouble is, now I have to find another Valentine's gift.
Upcoming events.
On the weekend of February the 2nd through the 5th, my wife and I will be attending the Transworld Halloween and Attraction Show in St. Louis, Missouri. So, throughout the entire month of February, be on the lookout on all of our social media channels for all sorts of spooky Halloween content, because Transworld is always a great time. There's so many things to see, do, hear, people to talk to. It's always great. We come up with a whole lot of cool stuff. So be on the lookout for that one. And then in the next month, March 18th, I will be returning to Clarksville Con right here in my hometown, Clarksville, Tennessee. That one is held at Quality Inn, Exit 4, right there at the heart of the financial business district of Clarksville, Tennessee. So feel free to stop by and check that one out. Say hi to me, all the other creators who are there. It's always a good time. The following month, I'll be at the Louisville Con, which will be held at the Triple Crown Pavilion. That'll be April the 8th. Once again, if you're in the area, stop by and say hello. Then the following month will be Free Comic Book Day on May the 6th, the holiest of all holidays for comic book readers like myself. Stop by Rick's Comic City in Clarksville, Tennessee if you're in the area. Say hello. There'll be some other creators there, and show Rick some love while you're there as well. And then on June, the weekend of the 9th through the 10th, is the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. Always a big deal in that town, and I try to go back every year. Stop by and say hi to me, the other creators, all the other cosplayers and fans who are there. And if you see him, tell Superman I'm waiting for him. And that wraps things up there. So I think now we're going to be winding down as we move on to
Cheap plugs.
This podcast is a production of Schorr Manor Studio, an indie publishing and production house for all things spooky. Be sure to look us up on YouTube by visiting tinyurl.com/Schorr Manor YouTube, or just search for Schorr Manor. We'll show up right away. All of this show's episodes are there with full video, so check that out. You can also sign up for our official newsletter at tinyurl.com/Schorr Manor newsletter and get all of our latest news and announcements delivered right to your inbox. Be sure to sign up and maybe even tell a friend or two. If you'd like to connect with me directly, there are several ways that you can do that. You can find me on Twitter at @TheMattSchorr, on Instagram at TheSchorr, and on TikTok at @TheOneMattSchorr. That's the number one, Matt Schorr. Or just by email at mattschorr@hotmail.com. And you can look us up on our official website at www.mattschorr.net, where you'll find this and previous episodes archived, not to mention our online book and t-shirt stores. Just click on the podcast link at the top of the page. So thanks again for checking out this episode. And remember, keep reading and keep listening. Thanks.